This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, it does not matter who the host is. Today's Thursday, August the 19th of 2021, day 231 of the year, and only 134 days left to go. Anyways, hopefully everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods, depending on whatever the hell you have going on during this early hours. So we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse of Safety FM. So doing the things that we do there. And then, of course, we're hanging out with our friends at that other place over there.
Radio Big.
Yep, hanging out with our friends at Radio Big. So we're already seeing people popping into the box. So good morning to those out there that are hanging. Sorry, LinkedIn user, don't know who you are. And good morning. So I'm going to tell you, it's kind of interesting on when we start getting messages inside of the box because of social media platforms allow us to kind of see some different messaging as it comes about and all that kind of fun stuff. But here's the gig. If you don't actually allow us give permission for when you're using whatever social media aspect, it does not allow us to see who you are. So thanks, incognito mode for doing that. Anyway, so let's start talking about what is going on for today. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on inside of the world of the news. We'll have some professional broadcasters come in and do their thing and talk about that stuff. And then we'll talk about the things that are trending. I'll give you my world of news. We'll talk about some liquid death. Yeah, we'll talk about that. And then go into some other stuff as we are moving around and all that kind of things. So let me tell you what was trending in the overnight. Have you ever done a front flip? No. Somersault, maybe? But that's about it. So let's talk about what was trending in the overnight. A 10-foot python slithered onto the top of shelf spices, terrifying customers in an Australian supermarket this week. Shoppers joked that the creature was a COVID-19 rule breaker as much as the country is masked and how strict the lockdown is. The snake was captured and released back into the wild. There is a chilling video available online if you're kind of into that. And it's a pretty big snake. I'm not going to lie here, but I'm going to tell you, I would normally populate the video on the streamer, but I have come to the conclusion that when I populate videos that are actually provided by somebody else, the issue that we run into is that I get a copyright violation claim. So let's not do that this morning. So anyways, let me get you moving and grooving into my friends at Feature Story News. We'll get them talking and doing the things that they do, and then we'll get moving into what we have to talk about. So let's do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. President Biden is expressing no regrets over the pace of the US troop withdrawal from Afghanistan that led to the collapse of the government in Kabul and then bedlam at the airport there. He's told an American television network the military withdrawal could not have been handled in a way that would have avoided chaos. But he's conceding it is possible US troops may have to stay in Afghanistan to continue evacuations beyond the current deadline of the end of the month. In an interview with George Stephanopoulos of ABC TV, the president indicated that may be necessary.
All troops are supposed to be out by August 31st. Even if Americans and our Afghan allies are still trying to get out, they're going to leave?
We're going to do everything in our power to get all Americans out and our allies out.
Does that mean troops will stay beyond August 31st if necessary?
It depends on where we are and whether we can ramp these numbers up to 5,000 to 7,000 a day coming out. If that's the case, they'll all be out.
Because we've got like 10,000 to 15,000 Americans in the country right now, right? And are you committed to making sure that the troops stay until every American who wants to be out is out?
Yes.
So Americans should understand that troops might have to be there beyond August 31st.
No, Americans should understand that we're going to try to get it done before August 31st.
But if we don't, the troops will stay.
If we don't, we'll determine at the time who's left.
And
if there are American forces, if there's American citizens left, we're going to stay till we get them all out.
Evacuation flights continue from Kabul around the clock, but there are reports of Taliban fighters blocking Afghans from getting to the airport. The UK's Defence Secretary is declining to label the Taliban as Britain's enemy in Afghanistan. It comes as the UK continues to try and extract its citizens from the country. Prime Minister Boris Johnson's been warning against recognising the Taliban as Afghanistan's government without conditions being met, but Defence Secretary Ben Wallace says it would be counterproductive to call the Taliban the enemy now the militant group has taken the country.
I'm not going to say language that could inflame the people we need at the moment to help get the people out. There's absolutely no point provoking the people who are currently running the country. Last time they lost power when they hosted Al-Qaeda, the international community moved in, it didn't last long, and they've been out of power for 20 years. And I'm sure they've learned that lesson. But secondly, we will judge them on their actions, not their words. International diplomacy is not really always, apart from very few countries, about friendships.
And in other news, the first COVID case has been confirmed in the Tokyo Paralympics village 5 days before the Games are due to begin. Over 4,000 athletes from around 160 teams are set to take part in the Paralympics from the 24th of August. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, an extended excerpt of the impassioned speech yesterday by Afghan military veteran Tom Tugendhat, a lawmaker in the British Parliament who is a member of Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Conservative Party. He is furious with his Prime Minister and with the American President.
I was never prouder than when I was decorated by the 82nd Airborne after the capture of Musakala. To see their Commander-in-Chief call into question the courage of men I fought with, to claim that they ran. It's shameful. Those who have never fought for the colours they fly should be careful about criticising those who have. We've demonstrated that it's not armies that win wars. It's nations that make war. Nations endure. Nations mobilise and muster. Nations determine and have patience. And here we've demonstrated, sadly, that we, the West, the United Kingdom, does not.
Tom Tugendhat, one voice of many in the British Parliament, appalled that President Biden authorised the withdrawal of US forces from Afghanistan without, he says, adequate planning for what would come next. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And to recap the top stories, President Biden's expressing no regrets over the pace of the US troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. Evacuation flights continue from Kabul around the clock. The UK's Defence Secretary is declining to label the Taliban as Britain's enemy in Afghanistan. And the first COVID case has been confirmed in the Tokyo Paralympics village 5 days before the Games are due to begin. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
You know how sometimes you're out and about and sometimes you have to access a report, maybe your bank account, maybe something that's important to you, but you don't want other people to be able to access it? I know you're probably sitting there for a moment going, well, why don't you just go into incognito mode and use that instead? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser's history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you've visited. And that's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. It can be Verizon, Comcast, or even AT&T. The ISP in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites that you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Most of the times, I don't even realize I have ExpressVPN on. It runs seamlessly in the background and is so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be using it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link at expressvpn.com/safety, and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/safety. expressvpn.com/safety to learn more.
Posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world, as you heard there. And man, I have to tell you, sometimes you guys pop some things inside of that box, and I'm just like, wow, this is mesmerizing. So thank you for the chatters. By the way, if you're interested in doing the chat and you're not on the social media platforms, it's perfectly fine. You can still come out and do the social media chat. All you have to do is grab your little celly and type and go ahead and dial out to 866-930-SFM1. Send us a little text right there, and we can go from there and talk about whatever the hell's on your mind inside of the different boxes that are available. And we'll talk about it, and we'll do the things that we do. You know, I have to tell you, I've been hanging out doing some pretty cool things over the last little bit. And I am mesmerized as we continue to talk about how we have to do the world of the old. And maybe we should just get into that right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's start talking and moving and grooving and all that other kind of fun stuff. And I don't know. I get so frustrated and flustered in talking about companies that are doing things the old ways. All they ever want to do is we can't change, we can't move, we can't groove, and go from there. Okay, forehead. I'm assuming that you're talking about how long my forehead is there. But thanks for that. But here's the thing. We have to talk about this. It is so mesmerizing on how you actually have organizations that are out there that they can't move forward. They just can't change. It's just one of those things that you talk to them, you move, you talk, you groove, you talk, and they can't change. And regardless of how backwards some of the systems are that they know about, they can't seem to change that. They can't seem to take a look around and go, okay, there is something that is better out there. Now, I want you to take a moment here real quick and think about this. I want you to take a moment and think about how some of the organizations that you might have the opportunity to interact with, on how they're unable to change, on how they're unable to do certain things. And it just amazes me to this date that there are companies that are out there and there's organizations that are out there that until it actually something catastrophic occurs, something won't change inside there. And what I've actually keep on looking at and talking about and going through is future proofing. You know what I mean here? So, I mean, right now it's great that we have a website that we're actually hosted on and all that kind of stuff. But I also look at it and go, okay, well, future proofing would be apps, radio stations, other things that we can actually do together. So you know that right now, if you are not sitting in front of your computer, if you are not sitting on a laptop, if you are not sitting on a mobile device, or on any of these devices where they have video, you can listen to us in an audio format. So we have done some future proofing. Whenever I watch Twitch from my phone, it's so laggy. Any ideas of what the issue is? Yeah, I have a lot of ideas what the issue is. Probably your service provider. Just throwing that out there, or you have too much stuff going on in the background. But here's the thing. We have done this where you have multiple options available. Now, at some point, maybe we'll stick one of those 360 cameras in here where you can take a look at what the hell's going on inside of the studio. But that's the thing. We talk about, yes, you did something in an old format, and we can talk about that maybe for some radio is the old format. We can talk about how podcasting is the future, but it is essentially a format of radio to some extent, but radio on demand. And then we take a look at some of this other stuff on how we actually do it, because we're future-proofing what we have going on. And I have such a hard time understanding on how in the hell organizations don't understand to future-proof what the hell they're doing. And it's all about, well, this is how we've always done it. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, I don't get it. You know, the thing that amazes me the most are the companies that are like, well, we need 2 things that verify the exact same information that you provided the first time. What? Yeah, so I just don't get it. It's so frustrating from time to time as we move forward and we take a look around and go, okay, so what is it that's going to make all of this? What is it that's going to change all of this for you, opposed to it just being one of these things where we're just kind of hanging? So at what point do you look at an organization and go, we need to be able to move forward, but you're stagnant there? Because here's the most difficult thing. Do you even lift? That's a good question. Even the most interesting part about the whole thing is you can't be a prophet in your own land. You can't be a prophet in a place where things don't actually change. And if you try to prophesize on what needs to be changed, I call it the powdered butt syndrome. If you grew up inside of an organization, they're not going to listen to you because they've assisted you, and they'll powder your butt. Now, here's the fun part, and we've talked about this plenty of times before, is that you can be inside of your organization and say, hey, this is what needs to be done. And all of a sudden, you bring somebody else in, and you tell them exactly what needs to be fixed. You tell this new person that comes in, that's assisting you, and let's say, for instance, as a consultant standpoint, and all of a sudden the organization will take a listen to it because somebody else is telling them the information. And I don't get it. I mean, I just don't get it. So at what point do you just call it? Do you just say, this is enough shizney and let's move forward? I mean, I don't know. I don't understand on why some of these organizations are so old school. And then the other side of the whole equation is, especially when a smaller organization gets bought out by a bigger organization. Well, we are the big brand. We are the 800-pound gorilla inside of the room. No, you're not. You still run it as a small company, and you're just trying to take a look and saying on how you are the big gorilla in the room when you're not. It's just kind of funny on how the whole thing works. I don't know on what kind of tangent I'm going on this morning, but anyways, it's a lot of stuff going on, and it's always mind-boggling to me on how you take a look at work that's being done and how you're able to change it later on. But right now, when you're kind of going through that whole stuck scenario that everything is just caught up in one moment where things cannot change, it's just, I don't get it. I don't get it on why people want to do that. I don't get it on why these things happen in organizations and why they get stuck doing the things that they do. But I guess that's a whole other conversation that we can have at some point. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to vanish already, but man, is that a lot to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So I guess we need to get off my soapbox. I think the only thing that will make me feel better at the moment, not a sponsor of the show, but yes, you are seeing me drink first thing in the morning some liquid death. That's what it's all about this morning, some liquid death. Yeah. Let's not even talk about that. So yeah, if you haven't seen what Liquid Death is, you definitely should probably go onto Instagram, take a look. They have some of the the most interesting promotional material that I have seen in a while. But Liquid Death, yeah, take a look at that. Murder your thirst. Whole other story we can get into there for sure.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Who the hell gets the mail at 7:00 in the morning? Hopefully you're not in the Eastern time zone. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's start talking about the things that are going on. An Afghan woman who was shot and had her eyes gouged for getting a job claims that the Taliban have also been known to feed women's bodies to dogs. Women are not living, breathing human beings, but merely some meat and flesh battered in the eyes of the Taliban. Wow, this gets even worse. The 33-year-old then recounted the horrific ordeal, saying that her father, a former Taliban fighter, tipped off the insurgents because he opposed her job in law enforcement, a punishment that is the militant shot her right 8 times and blinded her last year in the Afghanistan province. Wow, this is crazy. She also noted that how far women have come in the last 20 years to find a stable livelihood, to get proper education. Women were filling up universities, all went down the drain in just a week, she added. So just some interesting things on how things are going on around there for sure. When you start hearing these horror stories that are going on inside of Afghanistan as we're speaking right now. Anyway, let's continue talking. And Alabama is out of ICU beds. Dr. Don Williamson, president of the Alabama Hospital Association, told a local news outlet that that as of Tuesday, there are 1,568 ICU patients and only 1,557 beds. The state was over 2,720 patients currently hospitalized due to COVID-19, which is also comparable to what hospitalizations reported during their peak in January. In June, the state recorded a low 170. That were a mere 640,000 cases of COVID-19 in Alabama since the beginning of the pandemic. Worth noting, if millions of more people are vaccinated now than there were in January, why are there so many rising numbers? Which is a good question. Is that all unvaccinated individuals, or does that have the vaccine also has issues with people that are vaccinated as well? Also, if the country continues to shut down and mask up every few months, won't this won't this up and down trend continue? I don't know. If this is actually a pandemic, why is there still free for all at the a free for all for people to decide in certain states? So there you go. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about in that particular regards. And I know day in and day out, we seem to be talking about what is going on inside of the world of COVID, inside of the world of the pandemic, and all that kind of fun stuff. But let's be realistic. This is exactly what is taking over the majority of our news sequences. This is the stuff that's taking over the majority of the stuff that's going on out there. So we can't turn around and be like, oh, let's be hypocritical and not talk about everything that's going on, because we have to talk about it. We have to talk about what's there. That's the fun part about the whole thing. So let's continue talking. COVID-19 boosters will be available by September the 20th, pending approval from the FDA. The CDC and other top authorities released their plan of action yesterday, stating that those who received the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine will be eligible for a third shot this fall. Those who received a single dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine will need extra shots with an S, but health officials said that they are wanting more data to be sure. Meanwhile, the who opposed to the plan, noting that the poor countries are not getting enough vaccines in their initial rounds of shots. Dr. Samoon Swanini said that the evidence does not show boosters are needed for everyone, and leaving some unvaccinated could lead to an emergence of new variants. But the U.S. Surgeon General says that they rejected the notion of the U.S. much to choose between America and the world. So there you go. A lot of interesting stuff. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. We're going to need to get a lot of very, very smart intellectual people to talk about this and really have a better understanding of it in regards of what exactly is going on. And we can talk here all day about, well, there's not enough information about the vaccine, or there is great information about the vaccine, and there's a lot of stuff you can go back and forth on. But come on, man. Someone is going to need to pull up the trigger and figure out what the hell we need to do. And, you know, I love how, depending on where you kind of hang out, we need a strong leader that is from this party. We need a strong leader from this party. Now, I'm just looking for the smartest person in the room. I'm looking for the smartest person that knows what the hell's going on. I was reading a post or a meme yesterday that was actually saying the only person that I want advice from about how to handle a virus is Magic Johnson.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, there's a mystery afloat at the Belfast, Maine. The giant rubber duck appeared at the local harbor, and residential super sleuth are trying to figure out where it came from. The yellow waterfall with the word joy embroidered on it appeared over the weekend, according to the harbor master, Catherine Given. Everybody loves it. The Given told the Bangor Daily News, explaining that it doesn't pose any kind of threat to what's going on inside of the water, so there is no rush to remove it. Go ape shit. What does that even mean? What are we talking about? Do you think you can help me get better at this game? What game? Are we talking about the game of life? Because that's the only game that we're talking about here. So let's continue talking. Belgian-British 19-year-old Zara Rutherberg took off an airstrip yesterday morning to begin the quest to become the youngest woman to fly around the world solo. She will fly her Shark Sport aircraft over 5 continents and 52 countries on the journey that will take likely 2 to 3 months. Rutherford said that she hopes to show other young women that the sky the limit when it comes to making their own mark in history of aviation. The previous record was set by American aviator Chase Waz, who was 30 when she hit the milestone back in 2017. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up taking place there, that's for sure. So here you go. Who doesn't like free meat? What? Who doesn't like free meat? What are we talking about here? Let's make sure we're clear. Who doesn't like free meat? JBS Food is offering 5 pounds of free ground beef along with the entry to win a full year of supplies of free meat. Any person who shows up to get a COVID-19 vaccine at one of their 2 locations in Hiram, Utah. The state is working with Bear River Health Department and JBS to launch the campaign. Your shot at free meat for a year. One winner will receive a year worth of meat, pork, poultry for their family of 4. So far, 65% of Utah's eligible population are vaccinated. I mean, I guess if you're looking for some free meat, there's definitely some ways to do that, and you can go to some dangling diners if you're looking to do that all at the same time as well.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, let's continue talking about some other things. And now might be that time that we bring in our friend, our colleague, our partner, and we talk to Johnny Small. So here you go.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, August 19th, 2021. The markets moved lower Wednesday, trading at one-week lows. All of the major indices were down and closed at the low of the day, led by the blue-chip Dow Jones Industrial Average. The news of the day was the FOMC minutes, which revealed most members are in favor of starting the taper in the near future. The biggest risk to the economy right now is Delta COVID, but ultimately no decisions have been made about asset purchases. Today's action is focused on Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Business Outlook Survey and the index of leading indicators. Both are expected to remain strong relative to the previous month. The question is, how strong? The biggest fear in the market right now is peak recovery. If we get another indication of slowing economic activity, the market sell-off could deepen into a full-blown correction. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of the market beat. Here's what we were able to additionally find this morning. Stock fell on Wednesday as the Dow plummeted 382 points. The Nasdaq dropped 130 and the S&P lost 47 points. The Federal Reserve released their most recent meeting minutes in which it appears that the monthly bond purchases, which will be reduced later this year, as they said, job creation targets have been obtained. Lowe's, the store shares surged nearly 10% on Wednesday after upping their revenue forecast for the year and sharing data that indicated a large jump in professional and contractor sales during the recent quarter. So that's some good things to see as we're talking here this morning. Anyways, the parents of Anthony Hubbard, who was allegedly fatally shot by Kyle Rittenhouse during the protests in Wisconsin last year, are suing law enforcement during conspiring with armed individuals patrolling the streets that night. The lawsuit names multiple officers as well as the city of Kennesaw, the Kennesaw County as defendants. It does not seek specific amount in damages. Rittenhouse, who was 17 at the time, is set to stand trial in November on a slew of charges, including first-degree intentional and reckless homicide. Rittenhouse lawyers claim that he was in the area to protect local businesses from rioters and looting. So there you go. What do you think about that one? I'm sure that one definitely is going to stir up some controversy as we are talking this morning. The life of a North Dakota teacher was saved during a routine trip to Target. There you go, a routine trip to Target. Emmy? Is it Emmy? I think it's Emmy. Was shooting her local Target. Was shopping at her local Target when she felt faint. Employees acted quickly and got her medical attention and then to a hospital. She had suffered a stroke. Emmy shared the order on her TikTok this week, thanking the Target employees for coming up with her aid. It is unclear what triggered the woman's stroke, and I'm glad that we're able to share this information that she's still alive, because that's always important. So I definitely think that if this means that from this point on for the rest of her life, she will definitely be a Target shopper and no more Walmart for her.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, the wounded Chicago police officer and the partner to slain officer Ella French faces the potential of lifelong disability, according to a fundraiser set by his family. Officer Carlos Yanes was severely wounded when he and Officer French pulled over a vehicle in the city of South Sides about 2 weeks ago. Yanes was shot in the eye and her bullet lodged into her brain, according to CBS Chicago. French was fatally shot during the stop. And Monte Morgan, 31, Eric Morgan, 22, both convicted felons have been charged with the attack. Yana's family said that he will require home modification, accommodations, and transportation needs to increase accessibility and quality of life. So there you go. That's some interesting stuff in regards of what is going on inside of the world, because it's always mind-boggling on how these things start changing and moving and grooving and going about and so on. Anyway, so that's what we got. We are 35 minutes past the top of the hour, and you are hanging out with me here on RadioBig.fm and on SafetyFM.com.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here we go. Here we go once again. 39 minutes past the top of the hour. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, here we go. We will never die. Par Harthram. This one's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. We Will Never Die. I think I even have the instrumental version they sent over. So we could do that if you'd like. Okay, still doing the things that we're doing. So before I forget and I get too far away from this, did you take a listen to the Ask Me Anything episode of the Jay Allen Show? Yeah, a lot of people had requested that one, so we did it. I don't know. I think that we were able to answer quite a few questions, and it seemed like we got into some of the weird spaces that I normally don't get into, but hey, we did talk about them, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there. By the way, I've had this question come up quite often, so I'm going to tell you. I normally have to scan. I got 4 screens. One's pretty big over there, but I'm constantly scanning to see what the hell's going on because things are constantly moving. By the way, Twitch is super lag, and it's my end. Okay, let me explain this to you. The stuff with the lagginess of Twitch, I don't have any control over. Because here's the thing. I've had people tell me on how we're lagging on Twitch, and then they'll go to some of the other ones, and they're like, oh, it's spot on over there. So I'm not sure on how it actually works. I can only give you the info as it comes in, my friends. So I apologize. I wish I could help you with the lagginess, but unfortunately, I have no control over that stuff. I don't. I really don't. So anyways, let's continue talking about some more stuff going on inside of the world of the news here. A study has found that the regular flu shot may protect against some of the more some of the more severe complications of COVID-19. Researchers of the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine determined that the basic annual influenza vaccine lowers the risk of stroke, sepsis, and blood clots in patients with COVID-19. COVID-19 patients who have had the flu shot are also less likely to need hospitalization or enter ICU. This is good news and all, but brace yourself for when those yahoos on Facebook who say COVID is just another type of flu hear about this. I mean, that's going to be a whole other story, and I say that jokingly, or do I say that jokingly? I don't even know anymore.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this. This is a triple right now. I don't even know what that means. What's good? What's good? You're on. Yeah, I guess. Discord. No, I do not have a Discord set up. Yes, I have had multiple people tell me that I need to set up the Discord, but the problem is it will only work here opposed to working across. We'll talk about that later. Anyways, cat prefers a free meal rather than working for their food. According to a new study, researchers from UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine say that while most animals accurately prefer to hunt for their meals, their experiment shows that freeloading felines would rather eat from an open tray of food than retrieve their meal from an easy to complete food puzzle. I'm not surprised if I may. My cat could also use Uber Eats. That would be something important to him, and he would also like to do much of nothing. He looks quite a bit like Garfield, my particular cat. And yes, I do have a cat, just in case, as we are talking. Do you have a girlfriend? No, I do not have a girlfriend. When you sign that legal document, it changes what that girlfriend thinks. Damn you, I just got on. I'm getting off. Damn you, just got. I didn't just get on. How do I keep on getting this stupid message? Yo, what's up? How you doing today? I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. How are you? Hopefully everything's fantastic. Let's get into some more of this real quick because we want to talk about some more things that are going on. It seems that there is a new dating trend when it comes to roach clip. It's even goosier, and it could get kind of grosser than the zombieing or fleabagging. Dating experts have coined the term roaching. Yep, just like the bugs. What is roaching? You know how cockroaches multiply in hiding. That's how roaching got its name. It means that your partner, if he or she is a roach, may have many hidden sexual partners. According to one expert, if even if you're aware of one of the other partners, you could realize as time goes on that there are, in fact, many. Some clues that you could be looking for that you're being broached is that your partner doesn't make or keep plans. They aren't looking to get serious. They seem to always keep you at an arm's length away. That means that you're getting roached. Okay, so there you go. You're getting roached there. But even when Fonzie did it to everybody, they thought it was cool. So I don't know. That was back in the old days. But how does it become a dating? How does one become a dating expert? By doing a lot of roaching? I mean, that would be the only way that I would think that. And thank goodness that I thought roaching was going to mean that your partner who can run around for about 3 days after you cut off his head. I mean, because that would be the other way to really take a look at that for sure. I mean, I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. So don't know if you're into the roaching thing, but keep that in mind as we are talking.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So you are here to watch, okay, Eka Metal. I am here to watch you fuck shit up. Wow, that's pretty interesting. I'm not sure what that means. I mean, I know that I talk about some stuff, but I wasn't sure that that's what I was doing. But hey, let's continue talking. Mac Daddy, a Wisconsin man, has set the world record for the most Big Macs eaten. We talked about this yesterday. He has ate 2 Big Macs, 2 Big Macs a day for like 50 some odd years, but it's making the rounds. Are you going to get a gun license? Who said I didn't have a gun license? That would probably be the other question maybe that you should be asking yourself as we're getting into this 46 minutes past the top of the hour. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more about some other things that are going on. Let's talk about Did You Know? According to a new survey, some of us are getting a little creative with our kitchen cleanliness habits. According to a study of 1,000 people, 15% don't wash their hands while cooking. 41% have used spoons to taste something and then kept it to steer. I see that shit all the time. I'm not going to lie there. 34% rinse chicken in the sink, which isn't necessarily necessary and actually less sanitary. 26% don't rinse fruits or vegetables. Do you rinse your banana? I'm just asking a question there. 14% use the same cutting board for raw meat and vegetables. 23% have cooked full meat while drunk or high. Is that really getting creative? 8% burn things on purpose because they like the taste. That I agree with. Or you're just kind of, you're used to old school on how you make shit, and all of a sudden you just burn things up as you're doing. I'm going to grab a Red Bull. Be right back. No. You need to go out there and get some Liquid Death. I'm telling you, Liquid Death is where it's at. The white can's good. The black can's good. We'll get you moving. You'll murder your thirst if you do it that way. Not a joke. Not a joke at all. Anyways, it is 48 minutes past the top of the hour. You and I are still hanging out on this lovely morning. Anyways, I mentioned this yesterday because there was a screw up inside of the news. So I'll talk about this. Can you notice me? Okay. Let's see. Busiest Bulldog, I am noticing you. You are there. Okay, so in some baby news real quick, Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost have welcomed their first child. After the news broke yesterday, the pair were expecting... How did the news break yesterday? I don't get this. I don't think the news broke yesterday. I remember we were talking about this, that she had revealed that she was pregnant. That's why she was not making the rounds. Well, hold on. Let me rephrase that. She was not making the rounds promoting her movie. Making the rounds, that sounded terrible. But she was not making the rounds in regards to promoting the movie because she was pregnant. So how is this all of a sudden news broke yesterday on page 6? Where was the rest of the planet at? I mean, are we just that kind of far behind when it comes to certain things? I mean, I don't know. It's amazing.
Duh.
Listen to this real quick. Take a listen.
Here is what you've missed on the Rated R Safety Show.
So if nothing plays after I say, here's what you missed on the Rated R Safety Show, that's exactly probably what you missed. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some of the things that are going on inside of the world real quick. So there you go. No winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Friday's drawing will be for $256 million jackpot or $185.6 million cash payout. So if you're playing the game, it might be a good time to take a look. Anyways, before I forget, I want to make sure that we talk about this. I want you to tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. For more information, you can call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-TALK, or text the word TALK to 741-741. If you don't want to do either one of those two things, you can always go to their website at AFSP. That's AFSP.org. That's AFSP.org for more information. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Keep in mind that it's important to know what exactly is going on inside of that world and see what your local community is doing. The information might be good for you, but it also might be good information for you to be able to assist others. So don't let that go away from you. Okay, so there you go. Anyways, 51 minutes past the top of the hour. You and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. You know, I never understand when people are like, "Oh my God, it's a Friday Junior." If you're so like in a rush to get into the weekend, wouldn't it just be worth the while to find a better job? I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. Anyways, let me tell you about this. If you have not heard, the rumbling Fast and the Furious 10 will hit theaters in April of 2023, according to Universal Studios. Star of the franchise, Vin Diesel, is expected to officially announce the title at some point in the near future on social media, according to the production source. The next installment follows F9, which was the highest grossing flick released during the pandemic, earning, are you ready for this, $681.5 million worldwide. No other casting info or plot lines are known. I'm just wondering if it's going to get to like the Jason movie level, where it's like Jason in space or whatever the hell it was, because we're getting to the point now that we need to realize that on those movies, they're just superheroes. I mean, there's just no other way of explaining on how they're able to drive in the fashion that they're driving. So there you go. So let's take a look. Let it go. Okay, I'm going to let it go. Safety FM. Do you custom games with viewers? I don't even game on this thing, so probably the answer is going to be no, but we can always talk. We can always hang out and do some things. So there you go. Tomorrow will be Freeform Friday because that's what we normally do. So Freeform Friday, we open up the phone lines a little bit more. We kind of like take a look at what's going on, and we'll let some people pipe in if you want to kind of come through and go from there. So that'll be kind of cool if you want to do that tomorrow. So get ready. We start this off at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't give away your secrets. How am I giving away my secrets? That's not secrets. It's just live stuff on what we're talking about. So there you go. So let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1934, Adolf Hitler consolidates his power as the German head of state, merging the positions of president and chancellor. He took to the formal title of, well, I can't even say it, but it means a president and chancellor. The power grab came after the death of President von Hindenburg earlier this month. Despite the illegality of the position, Hitler's popularity allowed him to act without public outcry. That happened back in 1934. Back in 2020, Apple becomes the first U.S. company to be valued at $2 trillion. The milestone was reached just 2 years after they hit the milestone of $1 trillion. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today, just in case if you're interested in that. Kirk Cousins turns 33 today. Christina Perry turns 35. Melissa Fermero turns 39. Fat Joe turns 51. Matthew Perry, 52. Kevin Dillon, 56. Joey Tempest, 58. John Stamos, Uncle Jesse, turns 58. John Deacon turned 70, and Bill Clinton turned 75 today. So there you go. Those are some birthdays that are going on inside of your neck of the woods, in case if you were wondering what the hell exactly was going on.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's continue talking. I'm making it known that I just followed you. Where'd you follow me? Because I've been sitting here for quite a while, so hopefully you're not following me in some weird places, because that's an easy thing to do. I get it. I understand it. I understand what you're trying to say here. Anyways, let's talk about some of the other things going on inside of the world real quick. Let's talk about some whack facts, because I feel like we haven't done that in a while. Less than 10% of criminals commit about 67% of all crimes. 85% of people can curl their own tongue into a tube shape. I can't do that. I really can't. Batman's dog is named Ace, the Bat Hound. Oh my God, that's terrible. There are more insects in 1 square mile of rural land than there are humans beings in the world. Wow, that's interesting. A study found that orcas can learn how to speak dolphin. That's interesting. Stallion and bulls don't have nipples, so that's something. If you didn't know, now you know. Probably some things that you didn't want to know. So let's talk about some scoops of BS for you for today. The University of Cambridge says that a space elevator to the moon is possible with today's technologies. Astronauts think that elevator is a good idea, but they aren't looking forward to the 238,855 miles of John Tesh music on the way up there. Ouch. A report suggests that people who drink too much during their 30s through 50s are at risk of memory loss. On a positive note, Johnny Depp won't remember doing The Lone Ranger. Instagram now has more than 1 billion monthly active users. Not one of them could care less what you had for lunch. Former President Bill Clinton is 75 today. Bill will do what he always does. Bow his head, thank everyone for attending, make a wish, blow out the candle, then open his eyes and see that Hillary is still in the room with him. Terrible. A fact, when a male llama tries to mate with a female llama, she doesn't want to, she'll spit at him. So no change then whatsoever.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Oh, some rough stuff there this morning for sure. Anyways, let's continue talking. If you need a random joke for today, try this. They all laughed when I said I wanted to be a morning show host. Well, they're not laughing now. I don't know if that would be a random joke for you. Maybe that would be a random joke more for me. But there you go. Anyways, if you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What feels illegal but isn't? Oh, I don't know. There's some cleaning that comes to mind when that is said. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question: 40% of us wouldn't buy a car if it didn't have one of these. What is it? A cup holder. Out of all things to think about, a cup holder is what comes to mind. Okay, so there you go. That pretty much sums up everything that we have going on this morning. If you want to come and hang out with me, I will be going over to radiobig.fm, so you can come out and hang out on that side of the house as we are doing all of the stuff there and doing all the fun things that we do all the time. So you can come hang out and we will go from there. So that's radiobig.fm. We'll play some music, do all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what we have going on today. You have been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on radiobig.fm and safetyfm.com. Safetyfm.com is the home of real safety talk. So thanks for coming out, hanging out, and doing the things that you do with us every morning here on the different social media platforms. And then if you're hanging out on the podcast, and you want to get involved in the live thing, you can always go to safetyfm.com to do so. Anyways, if I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Attack the evil that is within yourself rather than the evil that is within others. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
Duh.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.